us like to believe we are not afraid to do what we love, even if everyone else is doing something different. But is this actually true? In other words, how much influence does conformity have on our actions? Conformity is when we adjust our behavior or thinking to coincide with a group standard, just as Larry here did when he put on a hat. Larry is demonstrating normative social influence, which is when we conform to gain social approval or avoid rejection. The other type of conformity, informational social influence, is when we conform because we want to be accurate. It arises from our willingness to accept others' opinions about reality. Linda here is demonstrating informational social influence because she conformed to the group opinion after realizing they were actually correct. So, what makes us conform? Linda adopted the group's opinion to be accurate, but let's go back to Larry. Larry decided to put on a hat because everyone else was wearing one. But what made him choose to do that? What made Larry conform? Was he worried he would be made fun of or left out of the group if he didn't have a hat? Was he afraid of standing out and just making an attempt to blend in? Or maybe he just thought the hats everyone was wearing were super cool and wanted to wear one himself. Whatever the reason, it is likely there were a number of factors that caused Larry to put on a hat. What might these factors be? Through studying conformity, psychologists have discovered certain factors that make us more likely to conform. We are more likely to conform if we 1. Are in a group with at least 3 people, 2. Are made to feel incompetent or insecure, and 3. Are from a culture that strongly encourages respect for social standards. People in Western cultures tend to value being individualistic, and therefore are more likely to not mind standing out in a crowd. Alternatively, those in Eastern cultures tend to value group needs and social standards, which makes them more likely to conform than those from individualist cultures. However, everyone falls victim to conformity from time to time, regardless of their culture. But how often do we conform? Solomon Asch looked to answer this question in his famous line comparison experiment. Asch invited college students to participate in what they thought was a visual perception test. Each participant was seated at a table with 5 other students and were asked which of 3 comparison lines was the same height as a standard line. One by one, the students were to state their answer out loud to the group. Little did the last student know, the first 5 students weren't participants, but actors. They were aware it was actually a conformity experiment and were instructed to purposefully give an incorrect answer. When the first 5 people all agree the answer is line number 3, what would you say? According to Asch's results, people will give a clearly incorrect answer to fit in with the group over 1/3 of the time. Sound like a lot? Don't worry. More recent studies have found lower rates of conformity than Asch did, but it still remains clear that conformity has a powerful influence on our daily lives and actions, whether we like it or not.